Rani, welcome to India today.
Thank you.
I have to take you back in time to the day I met you before Mrs Chatterjee versus Norway released. And I remember you telling me that, we must have a chat once the film releases. Because I know you're so involved in everything that you do. You always get excited by what people have to tell you. It's a feeling that has been constant over the decades, right? It's been a year. I mean, time flies. It's been a year. It just feels like the film came out yesterday because OTT release, people still watching it, people discussing it, your fans sort of rewatching it. Like I told you, I watched it thrice, and every time I've seen it, I discovered a new facet. Tell me, as an actor, what's the most rewarding thing for you? I mean, just the fact that
I think the most rewarding thing for me is when somebody like you comes and tells me that Rani, I wish you win all the awards, and that is what I wish for you. So I think that is so genuine because you're wishing that for me, For me, that in itself is an award. Because I'd rather have you say that than to you saying that you didn't deserve it and then I win an award. So I think for me that is more rewarding when my audiences feel that I've done well and that I deserve something special. Because we as actors work for making our audiences happy. If my audience sees a film and gets moved by it, they cry, they feel emotional, or they connect with the characters. I think that is my biggest victory because that is what I'm working for. When a story comes to me and I'm playing a character, I want people to recognize me as that character in the film, not as Rani Mukerji. Right. So when they connect with me as that character, when they live with me through that character, through the character's emotions, trials, tribulations, triumphs, victories, sadness, losses, and if the audience is feeling that with my character through the film, that is for me as a journey that completes my journey as an actor for that particular film. Right. And I feel that I have done justice to that film. So for me, it's always about how the audiences perceive my film, what do they think about it, and it happens even when my film doesn't work. Right. Because when a film doesn't work, there is obviously something that they haven't connected to, or they haven't connected to the storyline or my character, or they found maybe my performance not up to the mark. So it's always a learning experience with each film and with each comment of a film goer, because they are the ones who are, spending their hard-earned money and buying a ticket.
Absolutely.
So they have all the right to either tell you that they loved you or they tell you that they hate you, because that's going to be the most honest critique, to have, because they have no agenda. They are just going to the movies to have a good time. Right. And they're not going with an agenda that, oh, I'm going to hate the film. Right. Like, it's like when you're going for a vacation, you don't go on a vacation thinking that things are going to go wrong.
True.
You're going just to have fun and to have a relaxed time. And then you never know, if the things don't go as planned, then you feel disappointed.
Absolutely.
You see? So that's my biggest fear also with films, that, when we like something, am I and the audience on the same page?
Correct.
And
so then
and that
what is your guiding
something
compass? How does one have a guiding compass in this?
I think that is what keeps us relevant as well, no? If we keep our ears open, the minute we shut our ears and we don't want to listen to what people are saying, and keep justifying our bad work as well, that is where you will stop growing as an actor or as a person interested to, entertain the audience. Right. Because if you want to entertain an audience, you have to know what the audience wants. Right. You can't always do what you want. Right. So when I want to do a film which I'm really excited about, I also have the audience in mind. That okay, I'm really excited to do this part, I'm really excited to do this film, but is this something that my audience is going to like also? And it's always a instinctive thing. Like, I'm not going to go and ask people, correct, what do they think about the script.
Not a survey you're going to go and
exactly
do.
So I can't do that, but it's an instinctive thing. And then of course it's important for me to see other people's films, which is very important for the growth of our industry. When I hear of certain people from the industry, not seeing each other's films and they're only watching their own, I'm like, how is that even
right?
Living
good in a shell.
Because then you're only watching your work or your films. You have to see what other films people are doing, what other people are loving in those other films, or what they're not liking in those films. And that's also kind of your, like your guiding tool to understand whether what is working with an audience, what is not. At the same time, you also, when you have to push the boundary, you have to also do something which obviously shocks an audience as well.
Right.
So it's a very instinctive, I would say, feeling when you accept a part.
So when Mrs. Chatterjee came to you, what instinct kicked in?
I think my instinct as a mother, instinct as an Indian, as an Indian to, get to know of a story where an Indian mother had to go through what she had to go through was completely shocking for me. Because like every other individual, I think that maybe people who live abroad, they're probably living a very great life, and probably like you always feel that the grass is greener on the other side. And when I heard about this and I realized that, oh my God, for a person who does not understand the language of the country that she's gone to, for her to fight a battle, leave alone going to a grocery and wanting to
Yeah.
buy something, or going to a shop and buying something. Imagine fighting for your children when you don't understand the language there, and when you have to be in their courts and not kind of understand what the person is talking. It's a very big challenge and a very big, I would say, battle that she had to encounter. And she survived that battle only because she believed that her children are hers and she has done nothing wrong. And she wants her children back. And that love for her children, that fight that she did for her children, it's so easy for us to see a movie and say that, it's great. But imagine the life that she lived through that film. It was a depiction of her days in Norway, or her days in that country that she went through. So as an Indian mother, I think I was very connected to the story, and I thought to myself that this is a story that every individual should know. Also for younger people who want to leave their own country like India and go and settle abroad, thinking that they might get a better life there, but they should know what are the rules and regulations of different countries. Because when you go to another country, you have to live by their rules. In India, we are really bindas. We have the freedom. We have so many things. We can raise our children the way we want to. And imagine going to a foreign country and not being able to raise your children according to your culture or your preference. So that is something so scary. So for me, I was like, the story has to be told and it has to reach as many people as possible, because through this film, people will take different kinds of, I would say, understandings. Young people can take an understanding of whether they want to get married and settle there. Girls who, are living in India and are married off to people abroad, they need to know, their families need to know that are they doing the right thing by giving their daughters off, away from India. And they can obviously find a better partner here in India itself, So there are so many things that you can learn.
But Rani, I have to give you credit and tell you that you're almost a torchbearer for sort of pushing the envelope, breaking the boundary, asking questions, saying, let's do this. If somebody doesn't, who will? Let's take that risk. Let me do it, right? Let me break that shackles. You could have played safe. You could have kept doing the things that were working. You could have stuck to the box office numbers and charts and, oh, she's doing it. That's the new trend. Let's jump on that. But no, you paused. You took stock of what resonates with you, and you were absolutely organic with your choices, whether it's Mardani, whether it's Hichki, whether it's Mrs. Chatterjee, all of these films. And I think I like the fact that you are so in sync with what your fans expect from you. You're so sacrosanct to what they will think of when you put something out, because you put all of it into it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. As an actor, how did this come to you? I mean, was there a turning point where you felt that, listen, I can get my bread and butter and make the money off films, or I could be brave and sort of take the load rest travel?
I think, Tushar, I have all my life trusted my instinct. There was the period in my life, in the beginning of my career, where my parents took decisions of the films that I did because I was not very involved. Then when I understood the importance of how important it is and how involved one needs to be in films, and when I hit that note with Satya, and that was a turning point in my life where I understood that I need to do much more than just being part of films. And then my journeys began and started, where I started to want to know what is the story all about, what is the role that I'm playing, what is the character doing in those films, what changes, or what is that something in the film or in the story or in that character which will probably be inspiring or empowering for my female fans or for my fans in general. That is the character saying something important? Is the film saying something important? Are we depicting something that will make them relate with their own life? You know, so those are the films that I did which resonated with me as a human being. You know, because I'm a human being first, then I'm a woman. You know, so as a human, um, what are the interesting facets of human behavior that I can get onto a film? Like when I did Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna, it was not an easy role, you know, and with our moral standards in our society, it could be looked upon as completely wrong, which
Yes.
today I believe times have changed.
Absolutely.
And nobody is that judgmental. But at the time when Kabhi Alvida came, there was a lot of judgment
Yes.
towards the character.
If it comes
towards
out
the
today,
film.
we would be like, oh, every second story.
Exactly. But that movie
Yeah.
actually broke a lot of myths in families, in couples, and they actually saw the film and they realized the problems that they were having in their lives. So, in a way, Kabhi Alvida came into the picture in a time in India where I think people were wanting to be open about the problems in their relationships and were not being able to do so because of the pressure of, you know, whatever that happens in Indian society. So I think we've come a long way from that. But in every time, like whether I did Black, whether I did a Bunty Bubbly, whether I did Mardani or No One Killed Jessica, or any of the films that you take of mine, there has always been a constant effort from my side where I've tried to, you know, bring about a story of the underdog, whether it is Hitchki, you know, because in reality also you'll see that people who have the determination and the willpower to survive do survive at the end, you know, because they want to win at any cost, you know. And I think those are the stories and characters that inspire people. You know, sometimes you need to look at somebody else's life trajectory and get inspired by it, because you want that little inspiration, so you look up to something, you know. Like with Mardani, I think a lot of women felt empowered, you know, and they felt that they should take their safety in their own hands because they can't always be protected by the men in their family, and it's high time that they take onus of their own safety, you know. So there are a lot of things that I probably believed it so much as a woman myself, and now as a mother of a daughter, these are things which are very, very important in today's day and age, because you hear of such horrific things happening around the world, that you feel that, you know, you have to be prepared for any kind of situation in your life.
Do you watch your own films? Do you? And if you
Of
do,
course, when
how
I
does the
do,
process like? Are you
I think
critical?
I'm quite critical because I'm trying to see what I can do better or what can be better in the film. So it's always a process, because, you know, filmmaking process, it's like never will you see a film and you feel ki haan, now this is the
10
best
on
that we
10,
did.
हाँ.
You know, because there'll always be something that we feel, अरे ये better हो सकता था, ये scene शायद better कर सकते थे, या ये light जो scene में है वो lighting अच्छी हो सकती थी, या कुछ अच्छा हो सकता था. So that's, there will always be that thing. But at the end of the day, we have to put a timeline to a project and say, okay, now this is it. Now this has to be released.
We have to let go at
We have to
some
let
point
go,
in
yeah.
time. But tell me, your birthday is coming up, and I know that you're not on social media, but like your fans do everything for you on social
Absolutely,
media.
I'm really so grateful to my fans.
It's like an
Because
extended
if-
family
Yeah,
almost.
because if they were to have that kind of love that I have from my fans, because that is something that nothing can buy. That only thing that can get you that is real, like real adulation, real love, you know, real love, and the respect they have for me for the number of years I've given to this industry. I've literally grown up here, you know, so they've seen me at all stages of my life, you know, and they've literally grown with me, and I'm sure they have also grown in their life.
We
you
have
know.
memories of you as we grew up, right? We almost
Exactly.
feel like we grew up
So
together.
it's wonderful to have this as a family, extended family, and I always say that what I have earned is a family which I was not born to, you know, and that is the thing that I'll probably have even after I'm gone, you know.
So what plans for the big day? I mean, are you somebody who does cake and have
So I
friends over?
love celebrating my birthday because I'm born and brought up in Bombay.
Right.
And for some very odd reason, during my birthday, always exams used to be there. And they're also the final exams.
So no cake wafers.
So what used to happen is I would never get to celebrate my birthday as a kid because each time it was the final exams. Right. So I was only meant to give those 2 eclair chocolates to every child in your class, and that's what I did. And I used to feel miserable because I never was able to celebrate my birthday. So now what I do is I celebrate my daughter's birthday with a lot of love. Okay. So all the feelings that I had for my birthday, I'm trying to do that with my daughter's birthday, through her. But on my own birthday, I think it's pretty chilled out. Like I like to be around my daughter, my husband, my mom, and my very close friends. You know, if they're with me together, have a good laugh, eat good food, which is very important in our life. So yes, it's as simple as that.
That's lovely. And how is she doing? I mean, we don't get to see her at all. And I like the fact that how you've managed to keep that very personal, very private. And yet, whenever we ask, your eyes light up because come on, I mean, as a mother, how will it not, right? Yeah. But how is she? How is she growing up? How is she doing?
She's lovely. She's 8 years old now, and she's growing into this really pretty lady, a young pretty lady. And yeah, she's truly special now. Every mother will say that about their child.
Absolutely.
But
and what about the next Mardani film? What can fans expect? Because there's already this chat going on.
Actually, I'm also very eagerly waiting for Mardani 3 script to come, ready and baked for me to be able to perform. But Mardani 3 has to be special. It has to be something that will live up to the audience's expectations. So let's see. I hope some writer out there is writing something cracking for Mardani 3.
It has to be cracking. If it's you, it has to be. It can't be anything less than that. On that note, Rani, congratulations.
Thank you.
It was so amazing to see you in the movies.
Thank
and
you.
The film is still being watched and talked about. So congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
Wish you a very happy birthday in advance.
Thank you.